Today we have Eric Bisvater, the head coach of the Regina Rebels Smoke team, as well as Anna Doig, who is the base of the team. So thank you so much for being with us today to talk about your guys' journey to the World Championships that was down in Florida today.
Thanks for having us.
So tell me about that journey that you guys had to take, what competitions you had to compete at in order to qualify for the tournament, and kind of what made you guys qualify to go down to Worlds in Florida.
This year has been quite the journey for us, battling through COVID and other restrictions, of course, like every sports team. But we have really worked together to come a long way. It's a year-long process for us. And so we start with skill development and training and building our routine. And then when the winter months hit, we get into the competition season. And so this year, we were lucky because restrictions came off right in time for competitions to actually happen live. So that was really exciting for the girls. And we do a number of events, but the most important one was where we qualified for Worlds, and that was called Best of the West Cheerleading Championship. And we beat out every single other Worlds team that was competing to have the highest score and get a bid to the World Championships.
Yeah, it was great to get the partial bid in Best of the West, just to be sure that we had it to go to Florida, and that was really nice and it was exciting.
Yeah, having that in the bag in February really allowed us to focus on Worlds, getting it a little bit earlier than other years. And so then we just got to work and really pushed the girls' limits. And sometimes they really didn't like me for that, but I think they all liked me at the end.
And so how did it feel to be down in Florida at a world-class cheerleading event how did it feel to be down in Florida for that world-class cheerleading event that is the World Championships, and kind of just what were the emotions just being there and the feeling to kind of have felt that you've made it to the mecca of World Championship cheerleading?
Unreal. Like being there with the best teams in the world and even just watching them from the stands, it's just like an unreal environment. Because everyone's there for the same reason, to try their best and to try and win Worlds.
And then Eric, you've been a coach for many years. Tell me about the differences between American cheer versus Canadian cheer that you noticed not only this year, but you've kind of been noticing over the past few years.
I think that the differences between American cheer and Canadian cheer really stem from the amount of participation. Just, the US being such a larger country, having 10 times our population, they have so many more cheerleaders. And so you end up, typically speaking, with more advanced cheerleaders, right? And more high level athletes to kind of pick these world level teams from. But what I've noticed over the last maybe 4 or 5 years is that Canada has really been stepping up our game, and our teams are starting to really starting to participate at that same high level as we saw with our team this year. We beat out all of the Canadian teams and teams from other countries, and the US teams as well in our division. They participate at a different competition, but looking at the scores from that event afterwards, we beat all those teams too. So it's pretty cool to see our little country starting to really give these US teams a run for their money.
And so kind of tell us your guys' feelings before and when you guys were announced as the world champions, and just kind of what emotions were you guys feeling and what the feeling was when you found out that you were world champions of cheerleading.
Well, everyone was crying. Like, it was just like, you could feel like the tension in the room. You could cut it with a knife. It was the most nervous I have ever been. Like, I was more nervous waiting to find out who won than we were to actually compete. But then after, it was just like a big sigh of relief, and just like realizing like we worked so hard for this and like it really paid off. Everyone was like crying, and like even the coaches were. I keep rewatching that video, like just reliving that moment. Like it was incredible.
For me, it was honestly something that I've never experienced before. Usually, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't really get nervous anymore for the girls, but the morning before we competed, I was pacing around the resort, like hugging trees, just trying to breathe, and obviously not projecting that to the athletes, and just trying to project confidence. But that, you know, they had a great run, and it wasn't perfect. So that was one of the reasons why everybody was so unsure. We went into the final round in first place, and we knew that if we just did it again, we would probably have it in the bag. But, you know, we had one mistake in our run, and so then everybody was kind of all distraught and devastated, thinking we'd lost it. And then when they started announcing teams at awards, and it wasn't us, I remember my assistant coach, Becky, like she couldn't even handle it, and she just sobbing into my chest, and I'm like rubbing her back at the same time as me trying to be nervous and trying not to show it. And when it got down to the final two teams and they announced our team as the champions, I swear I almost fainted. I just felt like I was having an out of body experience. And then we're running and jumping and screaming, and like Anna said, everybody's crying and tripping over each other. And yeah, it was an unbelievable moment.
Thank you guys so much for the interview, and congratulations on your win. It's certainly a very big accomplishment, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.